What's up, guys? We got a banger for you guys today because we're ranking the top 5 ARs, and we've got 2 special honorable mentions as well in that department because I feel like these guns can rock the same amount of things. And we're also going to check out this new website called Sim, where he does a full breakdown of these guns as well on his website. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you guys can hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit those notifications so you guys know when we're posting. That way you guys can always keep up to date with the Warzone meta and keep rocking and keep slaying out. All right, guys, I just wanted to show you this website. It needs to get out so people can see it. This thing is freaking amazing. This has all the categories, all the weapon stats, damage comparisons, upper torsos, headshots, all that stuff. You can add plates, kill probabilities, time to kills, other comparisons, bullet drop. It actually has bullet drop. Not a lot of websites have that. There's also an aiming tool. Honestly, this thing is freaking awesome. If we go to the rifles and we actually check out the M13B, we click the next one and we can go M4, boom, and we can just keep kind of going and see what actually is preferred when it looks golden and stuff like that. So on the TTK thing, we can actually see that the KASTOV 762 has a better time to kill with 200 milliseconds. Oh wow, actually wait. The TAQ-56 has a faster TTK per 30 meters, but after that the KASTOV kind of takes it. See, this website is cool and I hope you guys are excited for it. That DMC or is that quads? Yeah, plates. So on this, of course, looking at the KASTOV, looking at the M4, these things just shine. This is cool to look at if you're really cool in the analytics. You guys want to get better at Warzone. You guys want to pick up the best weapons. You can see that it even has a movement speed with ADS. It has a bullet drop off. It has an aiming tool that you can actually just kind of see where the hitboxes is gonna go and land and hit. We got fire rates, we got ammo counts, reload times, drop times, raise times. This thing is awesome. So if you guys want to figure out more about Call of Duty and the way they do things on, just kind of weapon stats and what damage does where, this site is really cool. You can also put all the muzzles and attachments, everything you need. So I hope you guys enjoy. There's going to be a link down below in my description, so I hope you guys enjoy. Now let's get down to the rankings. All right, guys, so on our first ranking we got the RPK. This thing is brutal. Everybody's using this thing. It has such good stability, recoil control, recoil smoothness, and it just is a ripper. You can ask all the big Call of Duty names right now because that is what they're doing to get their nukes. On top of that, our build comes off as a ZRL Talon 5, the FTAC Ripper, high velocity rounds, and a Demo X2 grip, with, of course, the optic being the AIM V4. But a lot of people are now starting to use the Holotherm. That way they get the thermal. This thing is pretty fire. You get a lot of stability off this thing. You can also see that it's thermal. A lot of people using smokes at that end circle. So this site really helps out. As you can see, this thing feels amazing. You can also turn it off if you want, if it's hard to see. But honestly, this thermal really does help out. So that's up to you guys. Again, it's going to be all the way tuned far. And I want to say 1.84 to the aim down sight speed. That way you still get a little flinch resistance. If you're getting shot at, you can still make the play and fire back at people. On the ZRL Talon 5 muzzle, we're going to go plus 140 up for recoil smoothness. This really helps out, plus more bullet velocity out of the muzzle itself. all width and all the way right. F-TAC Ripper, we're going to go plus 80 for recoil stabilization and plus 40 for aim idle stability. That way it's just an easy just fire, kind of pull down your mouse, it'll just destroy somebody's face whole. On the F-TAC Ripper, we want to go plus 80 and plus 40 aim idle stability. I just did that. And then on the high velocity ammunition, we want to go -70 and -9 for more steadiness and more smoothness. That way this thing is just a smooth ride. On top of that, with the Demo X2 grip, we're actually doing a 0.68 towards recoil steadiness and a 0.20 for stability. That way we still get the sprint to fire speed. That way when you guys are on tac sprint or a full run, you can still be able to get into your scope and beam somebody while they're trying to beam you. On to our next one, we've got the TAQ-56. Now I'm saying the TAQ-56 is the better weapon right under it rather than the RAAL. A lot of people are liking the RAAL because the time to kill is insane, yes, but that recoil control is very hard, which why the TAQ-56 kind of just rolls with it better than the TAQ-V because of the stability. Yes, it is 300 milliseconds for time to kill, but honestly this thing is really strong, which is why it's at my number 2. Of course the aim out V4, like anybody else using it. This one I'm doing a -1.74 and a -65. I do a lot of research, and this TAQ-56 is more based off who is immortal and how he feels about the weapons and stuff like that. We've also got the Tundra Pro barrel, the echoless muzzle, the F-TAC Ripper, and a 60 round mag. That way you can get someone down and finish your kill or start fighting 3 other people. On the Tundra barrel, the tune will be recoil steadiness 0.48 and a 0.40 for damage range. The echoless 80, we're doing a -0.41 on aim down sight speed and plus bullet velocity. On the F-TAC Ripper itself, we've got a 0.52 for recoil stabilization and a plus 26 for aim idle stability. And this thing, honestly, I'm not gonna pull down the mouse, but look, it doesn't move. It doesn't move. So the 300 millisecond time to kill is nothing. I can literally just fire this thing off and it's golden. It's strong. On top of that, our number 3 pick will be, of course, the TAQ-V, the battle rifle version of the TAQ-56. This thing is, of course, really strong, and this build is more towards Iceman Isaac. This thing is really, really strong, but for me, I need the recoil control, which is why I like the 56 over the V. But this thing is still strong. It has a quick time to kill. Of course, we're using the AIMOT V4, and on this we're using an actual 1.35 on the aim down sight speed and a -1.65 for far. I like it like this because, again, the flinch resistance really does help when you're being shot at, and because the time to kill is so fast with the TAQ-V, being able to aim down sight speed plus having flinch resistance is really good. No silencer on this one because we're actually using the bore 490 and a commando foregrip with a high velocity rounds and a 50 round drum. And on the actual tune of it itself, we're doing a 0.65 for recoil stabilization. That way we still get a little bit of aim down sight speed, and of course the plus 12 for gun kick control, because this thing does kick like a mule. It can mess up your recoil control and how you need to move through controller or mouse and keyboard. On the commando foregrip, we're running a 0.64 for recoil stabilization and a plus 28 for aim out stability. That way we still get the aim walking speed. That way we can actually like zoom around a corner if we keep getting shot. We're not winning our 50-50. On the high velocity rounds, we're using 0.56 for damage range and a -377 for recoil steadiness. This thing does not need bullet velocity because we're using high velocity rounds. You'll see that in a lot of builds nowadays where they're not going full velocity. You don't need it. It still hits the target pretty fast and downs the target pretty fast. On our 4th ranking, we've got the RAAL LMG. Again, for me, it's recoil control. course, the aim-op V4 is good, but I actually really like the holotherm for this, or even the 4.0 optic. But of course, the tune is going to be all the way for flinch resistance and far. All the way for flinch resistance on this one, because this thing is not as fast shooting wise, so the bullets don't come out fast enough, so you're in that dogfight and you're getting plates broken. With the TTK being so fast, you really need it. We've got the Talon 16 muzzle, the SA side grip, the of course high velocity rounds, and we got the Step 40 rear grip for that. On the tune itself, we're using plus 1.40 for recoil smoothness and all the way for bullet velocity. On the SA side grip underbarrel, we're using a plus 80 for recoil stabilization. Really need it. This thing does bounce and kick like a mule. We're using also 0.40 for aim idle stability. On the high velocity ammunition, we're doing full recoil smoothness and full recoil steadiness. This thing really does need it. On the Step 40 grip, same. It's the plus 1 for recoil steadiness and a 0.44 for aim idle stability. That way, you're kind of controlling where your bullets are going to go, because if you don't get that sway just right, it's going to sway and mess up your recoil control. But this thing honestly is fire as all hell. As you can see, it literally just takes 1 to 2 bullets, 3 bullets right there, 2 bullets, 2 bullets. This thing is super strong, and you can literally just laser people from across the map like it's Modern Warfare 2019. Like, it's literally Warzone 1 all over again. It does feel really nice, but the recoil control from long range can be a hindrance if you're not really good with recoil control. On our rank number 5 and our final ranking will be the, of course, KASTOV 762, and we get this build from the Warzone stats website and Metaphor. We kind of use the best of both worlds. Metaphor doesn't use a barrel on his KASTOV. I like the barrel. It helps with recoil control. Again, I really struggle with it with this game, and I know a lot of other people do too. So of course we're using aim-op V4. With this one, I don't do flinch resistance because this thing can kill really fast. So we go all the way for aim down sight speed and 1.17 for far. This thing, if you do it too much on far, it actually bounces a lot more if you guys actually look at it. Of course, we're using the KASTOV 584 millimeter barrel, the Polarfire S, and the TAQ ripper with a 40 round mag. I'm using the 45. I'm using the Polarfire S instead of the lock shot, or even the oh, looks like they took away one of the silencers with the this last update, so can't even see that one. But anyway, on the tune for these, the barrel will be a 0.37 for recoil steadiness, a 0.27 for damage range. On the Polarfire S, we want more recoil smoothness, but we want that aim down sight speed because it does take a while for it to aim down, and we want to go 0.65 for bullet velocity. With the TAQ ripper, we want 0.62, and we want a full 0.40 for aim idle stability. And this thing is dominant. It really is good, but it takes my 4th place because it, again, recoil control, but this thing is really strong. As you can see, it really does cry. It just needs, the recoil control just isn't there for it. As you see, it bounces more to the right and then left. It just jags way too hard for me. So even with it going to the right, as you can see, it bounces right here to the left and then goes back right. So when you're trying to adjust for it for far, it feels like it's just too loose, and that's why it's at my rank 5. These are the honorable mentions, and these things are actually really strong and have a faster time to kill than the RPK, but again, the recoil control is just not there. So this one is the SAKIN MG, and this thing just bounces like crazy, but damn is it fast to kill, man. This TTK is insane. On this one, I actually opt to use the SD Sro 7 just for a better sight picture because the bounce is intense. We're also using the 20-inch barrel series barrel, the ZRR Talon 5 for more recoil steadiness. We want the Bruin Warrior LMG underbarrel because it helps with recoil steadiness. And of course, we want the Bruin Q900 grip wrap. This thing is honestly brutal and very strong. Without even having to look at the tune, just take a look at this thing. Like, you can't beat the mag either. Like, look at the grouping. That's insane. That's an insane grouping for like bullets. Like, if I go, let's go all the way to the bottom, and I'm not moving the mouse today. That's an insanely tight grouping, but the recoil is very hard to control for some people. So this is why it's on an honorable mention and not in the rankings. But that grouping is insane of itself. On our tune, we got all the way for aim down sight speed because this DTK is super fast. You should be beating everybody. We want to go all the way to far for eye position. We want on the barrel all the way for recoil steadiness and all the way for damage range. On the Talon 5 muzzle, we want recoil smoothness all the way up and bullet velocity all the way right. On the Bruin Warrior LMG, we want recoil stabilization all the way up and stability, to kind of control that recoil all the way to the right. For the grip itself, we want aim down sight speed because this does take a long time to aim down sight other than recoil steadiness. I bet if we went recoil steadiness, it might do better, but you're going to lose out trying to fight your 50-50s if you do get caught with your weapon out. So aiming idle stability all the way to the right as well. That way it's just so much better. And that is the SAKIN, guys. We have two more actually honorable mentions. I thought that I just had, but honestly we can't leave out the M4. But my other honorable mention is the RAPP H. Yes, I know a lot of LMGs for these long range fights aren't as optimal, but with the RAPP H being so like dominant and with its long range like attachments, this thing is really strong. So on the AIM-OP 4, the tune is going to be all the way for aim down sight speed and far, of course, for aim thing. We're actually using the Zula 60 muzzle, the BO52 grip, and high velocity ammunition to make it so much faster to hit the target. With the LACHMANN TCG10 on the rear grip, the tune for it of itself, we're using recoil stabilization all the way up, aim out stability all the way to the left, and of course on the grip we're using recoil stabilization and more stability. On the high velocity rounds, we want recoil smoothness and recoil steadiness. And for the LACHMANN TCG10, we want aim down sight speed instead of recoil steadiness and sprint to fire speed instead of stability, because it does take a long time to scope in. I don't know why this rifle just has a lot of slowness to get to the actual sight, but this thing is really strong and shoots really fast. So look how stable that is without even having to put that extra stuff on the back end. I know it's gonna be hard to look at the grouping, but check out the grouping. That is a super easy recoil pattern to get into, and you can't beat how fast it shoots. There is a kick, so there's a slight pull down, but you can't beat it, honestly. So it's honestly in my honorable mention. I'm gonna be probably putting a gameplay out later this week about it, so we'll see how that is. And of course, we can't leave out the M4. It's always going to be an honorable mention in most of these rifles and long range fights. It's very versatile compared to the rest of the ARs, but this AR, I like using it a lot for third person mode because I've been playing a lot of third person mode lately. On top of that, we're using the high tower 20-inch barrel, the RF Crown 50, no silencer on this. It doesn't need it for the recoil smoothness. The F-TAG ripper on the underbarrel and high velocity ammunition with a 60 round mag. on the tune of itself. We're going all the way for recoil steadiness, all the way for damage range. On the RF crown, we're using 0.80 for recoil stabilization and the gun kick control, because this thing does kick like a mule if you don't have it set up right. On the FTAC gripper, we want recoil stabilization and aim idle stability all the way up. With the high velocity rounds, we want to go full recoil smoothness and full recoil steadiness. And of course, we got the assist round mag, which doesn't have a tune, but take it to the firing range. Check this. Got a nice clear sight picture with the iron sights. Straight linear, guys. Straight linear. Alright, guys, that's the tier list for the long range rifles. I hope you guys liked it. If you guys can, hit that like button. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about the rankings, if I should change the rankings, what gun is better for the rankings. Let me know, guys. Also, if you guys can, follow my Twitter. You're going to see a lot more of builds and stuff like that just going up on Twitter for short form content, as well as just kind of pictures. That way you guys can always slay out in Warzone. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Fight me!